What's going on, guys? My last fantasy draft challenge video was only playoff teams. You guys asked me to do non-playoff teams next. Now, to make it a little bit harder, we're actually only going to do draft lottery teams. So basically, only teams that have a chance to draft Connor Bedard. If you look at this list here, it's all the teams that are Vancouver and up. So we got 11 teams total there to pick from, which is going to make it pretty tough. Like, we're literally picking from a third of the league. I figured Anaheim's got the best chance of Bedard. We'll use Anaheim here for this draft. And I just loaded in the draft here, guys, the 15th pick, but as usual, going to go eyes closed here, randomize. Hopefully, I don't actually know where we want. Hopefully we just get a good pick. 17, so pretty much the same thing. I'm looking at it. The one issue I think with this challenge is going to be the fact that not a lot of veterans on these bad teams, and usually, you know, the veterans are where we get the steals. Picking guys like Joe Pavelski, Mark Giordano a lot later in the draft just because they're so old, even though they are still high rated. You can see Slavin there at 16, Barkov, Robertson, Rantanen, Tkachuk, Kaprizov, Pastrnak there at 10. He's supposed to have high elite, not high franchise, so that's a mess up, but the rest of these picks, I mean, makes sense. McDavid again goes 2 behind Makar. 3 overall higher, high franchise potential. I guess the IGMs really like their defensemen. So we'll see if we can get here. Crosby, unfortunately, you know, not in that lottery. Neither is Marner, Marchand, Stamkos, Yossi, Hedman. Who's like the best player? Tage Thompson. So we could, actually no, Buffalo's at 13. Can't take Thompson or Hughes. Heiskin takes Johnny Gaudreau. We could take. I feel like he's the highest player available we can take. I might as well go after him. Kind of funny, of course, doing a Blue Jackets franchise mode right now. If you guys haven't checked it out, go and do that. It's been a lot of fun so far. So we get Gaudreau there with our first pick. Washington, we actually could take John Carlson, which means we get Ovi2. Ooh, Gaudreau's an awesome playmaker. Put him with Ovi, who's a great sniper. That could be a dynamic duo. Obviously, Carlson there, but you have Erik Karlsson too. I think Erik Karlsson will still be available by the 3rd round. So let's take Alex Ovechkin here, round 2, and then hopefully Erik Karlsson is still there round 3. He's not, but John Carlson is. That is a surprise. I remember not too long ago, another video I had a bunch of like Pittsburgh, Washington players. Obviously, cannot take Pittsburgh players this time. Drew Doughty, Letang. Let's see who's like the next best guy we could even take. Sean Couturier there. Philly is a lottery team. Obviously, he'd be healthy in this case, so he'd be playing in the middle between Gaudreau and Ovi. Couturier has won the Selke Trophy a bunch of times in my CBJ franchise sim. So let's go with Couturier there. And our next pick here, guys, in round 5, I'm looking at Kuznetsov. I mean, we're going to have 3 Capitals, but honestly, Washington was a team that really underperformed this year. Some injury issues. They actually have a lot of good players. Could potentially, honestly, put Kuznetsov first line with Gaudreau and Ovi just because he is more offensive. Couturier on the 2nd line. And, of course, on all the PKs as well. The rest of these guys here, like, we cannot take any of them. David Perron on the Red Wings we can take. And I think the next best player we can take is Brayden Schenn. He's lower rated, but Schenn can play center, which I kind of like. Could also play wing, 31. I mean, Schenn will probably still be there. Goaltender-wise as well, I just realized we've only got like 22 goalies to pick from total. Who would be the best guy to get? I guess John Gibson. Anton Forsberg as well. Actually, no, Ottawa just missed the cut for teams we can take. They were 12th. So, do we take Gibson now to make sure we have a goalie? Vejmelka would also be available a bit later. I feel like Perron, Schenn, those guys should be available for a bit. So let's take John Gibson. Make sure we have a decent goaltender on this team. And actually, look at that. Logan Couture is available. Obviously, terrible salary, but it doesn't really affect us. We also only have 1 defenseman right now. Torrey Krug we could take. St. Louis there. I'm looking at Torrey Krug. I actually didn't even realize we only got John Carlson right now. So there are some options. Logan Couture might be gone already. Cam Fowler there as well if you want another Mighty Duck. Now, both David Perron and Brayden Schenn are still here. Shenn's 3 years younger, but he's got a bigger contract. I'm not sure like which of the AIGMs are going to value more, so let's just take Perron for now. I would like to get like a solid top 6. We can get Schenn here. I will definitely have that, and it looks like he just got taken. So we're a little bit too slow. Nick Backstrom's available though. Again, so many Washington players, but I mean just the way it's working out. Again, they've actually got, you know, some star players. They really underperformed this season. Let's take him, and then I think we got to start looking at defense. I believe Cam Fowler's also gone now. Petrie almost took, but of course he's on Pittsburgh now, not Montreal. John Klingberg was on the Ducks, but now he's on the Minnesota Wild, so we can't take him. Jonathan Toews we could take. Be really solid 3rd line center. Shattenkirk we could also get. So let's take Shattenkirk first. He's on the Ducks. He's actually only the 3rd defense we've taken. And then if Toews is still available, we'll go after him. Hopefully he is. Yeah, he is. Okay, so take Toews. We get a solid 3rd line center. Another guy can play on the PK with Couturier. And now next year, guys, I am digging deep to find a player we can draft. Specifically, looking for defense. Dylan Schmidt, they're both on Winnipeg. Manson, of course, on the Avs. Goligoski, I believe, is on the Coyotes. And Savard's on the Canadiens. So, I don't know if it really makes sense, honestly, to go that far deep yet. There are guys higher rated, like Henrique's on the Ducks, 84. Honestly, he's a solid third line player. I think we could go him. We could also get Atkinson there on the Flyers. I feel like those are probably our next 2 picks. We'll go Henrique first because I think he's more of a two-way guy, and that's probably what we're looking for right now anyways. Next year, we'll take Atkinson. I think now we got a solid, top 9 forward group. And now with our next pick here, guys, looking for a defenseman to round out the top 4. I actually totally forgot Goligoski no longer on the Coyotes. He's actually on the Minnesota Wild now, so good thing didn't take him. Forgot, though, Ekman Larsson on the Canucks. Not too bad, obviously. Used to be a star, but his play's definitely fallen off a little bit the last couple of years. So Savard here gives us kind of the most physicality there. Could also go with like an Edward Vlasic guy, just a solid defensive defenseman. Big contract. He's probably going to be available for quite a bit as well. So I think our first pick, I'm honestly looking at David Savard because a decent contract. And then maybe the next 2 picks, we go Edward Vlasic, Ekman Larsson. Obviously, huge contracts, so they should be available for a bit. They are both still available, so I feel like we'll go Ekman Larsson just because he's younger. So hopefully Vlasic will be available here with the next pick, and he is. So there we go. I feel like our top 6 D is not too bad. All we need now is actually 3 forwards to fill up the 4th line, and then our backup goalie. Backup goalie really doesn't matter. Although, I don't even know, who can we take here? I guess Merzlikins would be the next best goalie we can take. Terrible contract. Luckily, even though salary cap's on, you can go over it during the draft. We're currently 31 million over, which I know some people don't like, but we got some pretty tough rules on us right now, so I think that's okay. We'll take Merzlikins there. So we do have a decent backup behind Gibson. Now we just need a 4th line of forwards. TJ Oshie is still available. Are you kidding me? Another Washington Capitals forward, but like, how can you not take TJ Oshie? Let's go. Honestly, he's probably playing top 9. We'll have to see how it works out chemistry-wise. Next here, Mike Hoffman's a sniper. We don't really need that. Tyler Johnson there, 2-way forward. Could take him, honestly. He's got 85 faceoffs. Be the 4th line center. And you know what, guys? Yeah, let's take Tyler Johnson. I feel like he's a guy I don't take too often in these. And now our last pick here, we need 1 more forward. So far, we've gotten, 2 two-way guys for that 4th line. Nyquist got traded to the Wild, like, last second of the deadline from the Blue Jackets. And so our final pick here, guys, I want a forward that's smart defensively. Now, as you can see, some of the names we could have taken actually got moved to the deadline, like Hathaway's on the Bruins now, Benito's on the Penguins. Luckily, Nick Dowd is still in the Capitals, so just another Washington player on this team. Actually, pretty good contract, too. 1.3 million the next 3 years. You can see there, 90 D awareness, decent physical. He's also got 86 faceoffs, so I feel like he'll be the perfect 4th line center for us. And overall, I feel like this team should be pretty decent. Again, only being able to pick from 11 of the 32 teams. The squad doesn't look too bad. Alright guys, so next we're going to show what this team is looking like. As I mentioned, I think it's actually going to be pretty solid considering you can only draft from 11 teams. I actually noticed too, there was one team we didn't take a single player from. You might have already guessed it. That was the Arizona Coyotes, which honestly is because most of their team is so young they'd have already been drafted, and the guys that aren't young are just not very good. So here's a look at the team, guys. I mean, the entire top 6 gets a +5 chem boost. Ovi, Kuznetsov, Gaudreau as the first line is going to be nasty. Both Gaudreau and Ovi are left wingers, but obviously we can't take Ovi off his left wing. So hopefully Gaudreau will play fine on the right side. Perron, Couturier, Backstrom, I think, a solid second line there, especially with that +5. You got Henrique, Taves, Atkinson on the 3rd, and then we have Johnson, Dowd, and Oshie on the 4th, actually getting a +2, as well as I pointed out, I think, during the draft, like, so many good face-off takers. Couturier, he's got 93 face-offs, Henrique, 90, Taves, 94, I think the 4th line, Dowd 86, Johnson 85, so should be winning a lot of face-offs. Defensively here, a little bit of a weak spot, but not terrible. Krug, Carlson, top pairing, +3. We got Shattenkirk, Vlasic on the 2nd, Ekman Larsson, Savard on the bottom pair. In terms of goalies, Gibson starting, Merzlikins there backing him up. Power play 1 looks kind of deadly, honestly. Like, are you kidding me? And I feel like the strategy for the power play should be pretty simple. Couturier wins the face-off with the 93 face-off stat. Gives it to Gaudreau, who's got 97 passing, or Kuznetsov, who's got 94 passing, or Carlson, who's also got 94 passing. And then one of those 3 guys gives Ovi the puck in his office. I mean, look at that shot, 5-star. Hopefully, he can go off and put up like 60 goals for us. Now, power play 2 obviously won't see the ice as much, but it's actually not too bad there. Foreman power play 1's a +5, Foreman power play 2 +3. In terms of the PK, I feel like we actually drafted a solid PK team, especially with the good faceoff takers. And you see here, both Shattenkirk and Savard each have the shot blocking X factor, so that'll help out a lot. Second unit there again, not too bad looking. Same with the 3rd, they actually get a +2. Then 3-man PK 1, 2, and 3. No negative chemistry, which honestly is a big surprise. Usually you're getting at least some on the 3-man, so very good to see. In terms of captaincy, pretty obvious, but had to give Ovi the C there. We got Gaudreau and Couturier also wearing A's. Now, so far in the preseason, guys, we're actually looking really good. We're 4-2. Kuznetsov there averaging 2 points a game, only 1 goal, but I mean, I'll take that. 11 assists. Hopefully, I can keep that up. So, looking at our ratings here before we start the sim, we've got 95 offense, 91 defense, and 83 goaltending. So, 2 that's good enough to at least make the playoffs, maybe even make a Stanley Cup run. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, so I just simmed right to the end of the season. As you can see there, we finished the record of 47, 27, and 8, which is actually good for 102 points on the year. Got first place there in the Pacific Division. I'm trying to see the Senators there, 103. The Penguins, 116. I'll have to take a look at their team after, see like who they drafted. But a very solid season for sure. Johnny Gaudreau, over a point per game. Love seeing that from Johnny Hockey. So I'll see what the rest of the team did. Hopefully Ovechkin, you know, at least in the 70s. He's actually one shy there, point per game with 44 goals. Kuznetsov, 76. Couturier, 71. One thing of concern, that first line's actually all dash players, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Backstrom 64 is pretty good for him. Perron pushing 60. Carlson 51, not bad for D-Man. Honestly, I feel like he could have put up even more points than that. But overall, I feel like his team performed as you'd expect. Goaltending stats here. So Gibson, 908, 2.91. Not amazing, but not terrible. Merzlikins there, under 900 save percentage. Definitely not the best. And I look at the entire league here. Brad Marchand was on that Pittsburgh Penguins team, put up 110 points, just went off. Matthews, Eichel, Stone, Malkin, McKinnon, Kucherov, Petey, Panarin there. Most goals goes to Tage Thompson on the Carolina Hurricanes with 58. And then defensive scoring, you got Victor Hedman, 84 with the St. Louis Blues. Best goalie, Darcy Kemper, also on that Penguins team. Sorokin, though, best save percentage, 928. That's pretty nuts, honestly. And he also had the lowest goals against for a starter. Wow, and then look at this. Matty Beniers on the Red Wings, 74 points. I swear I just did something else where the Red Wings got Matty Beniers because they had him and I think Roman Josi in my last fantasy draft. It must have been the playoff team one. So it's kind of crazy that they got him again, and again it looks like he's going to be winning the Calder. But we're getting started now, guys, with these playoffs. So we won our division. We got the Avalanche here in the first round. Take a look at that team. Also, too, I mentioned I do want to see what the President's Trophy winning Pittsburgh Penguins roster is. Marchand, Tavares, Raquel, Jack Quinn there. Phil Kessel back on the team. I mean, fourth line's not the best, but pretty good forwards. Defensively, no number one, but, like, you know, solid depth. Kemper in net. So, like, yeah, good team, but really not an amazing team. Taking a look at the Avs here. They got Shesterkin in net with Fleury backing them up. Come on, what are they doing? DeBrincat, Giroux, Besser. Are you kidding me? The second line, they got two 79s and an 81 Kerfoot. Sorelli's on the third line, another 79. Banks on the fourth line for some reason. Defensively, they got Pietrangelo. Yeah, this team, they definitely like took Fleury way too early. They could have used a forward looking at that forward group. Now, having said that, watch us lose round one to this team. I feel like that's kind of how the sim goes, but let's see what happens here. We've got home ice advantage. We actually do win the first two games. Head to Denver, 7-0 loss. Luckily, though, we won game 4. We're actually able to take that series in 6. So I'll see what we have next year, round 2, Vegas Golden Knights. So looking at Vegas here, guys, as we already saw, they got Austin Matthews. He's playing with Clayton Keller, so that's kind of cool because they could be a potential future duo if Matthews joins the Arizona Coyotes. Pacioretty's there as well. Scheifele, I mean, okay, this team looks pretty solid defensively here. Drew Doughty, they do have a pretty weak bottom pairing. Goaltending, they got Swayman, who's solid, alright. So, I mean, you know, should be a good matchup here. I actually noticed currently playoff leading scorer Sean Couturier, 3 goals in 6 games. So, that one's a little bit weird. I mean, I feel like, I guess we're getting it done by committee, but, you know, somebody's got to step up here. We need someone about a point per game pace, whether it's Ovi, Gaudreau. I don't really care. Round 2 here, guys, against Vegas. Okay, we lost the first game. And we then won the next 4 straight. So there we go. We got the Blackhawks now in the conference final. I feel like you know it's a fancy draft when you got the Anaheim Ducks, the Chicago Blackhawks in the Western Conference final. And Ovi here is now up to 8 points in 11 games, 7 goals there. So that's good to see. He wants another Stanley Cup. We'll take a look at this Blackhawks roster. Okay, that first line is sick. Cole Caulfield, Connor McDavid, Tyler Toffoli. Are you kidding me? So McDavid just send those 2 up. Shelley there playing with Eklund, who's only a 78, but still a good young player. Athanasiou, Pajot there, third line center. Defensively, they got Riley Hamilton top pairing. That is nasty. That could have literally been a Leafs top pair if they didn't trade for Phil Kessel. Liljegren, Sanheim, Scandella, Miller. So the defense looks good. They got Carter Hart as their starting goalie. Obviously, you're playing against McDavid. You know it's going to be a tough series. So let's see what happens here. We do have the home ice advantage again. Hopefully, we can take these guys out and win the first 2. We win actually the first 3. They made it a close series there, 3-2, but luckily hold on there. Win in 6. Next, we got the Buffalo Sabres in the Stanley Cup final. Already won game 1 there, 8-5. Ovi's pushing a point per game. He's up to 17 and 18. So these draft lottery teams look like they might have produced a Stanley Cup champion. Peterka here stays with Buffalo, which is pretty cool. And then they got Suzuki and Kucherov on that first line. Moore, Malkin, Vetrano on the second. So, I mean, that 1-2 center punch is sick, especially when you're adding Kucherov to it. These 3 must have been like their top 3 picks. Foot, Stastny, Waugh, Kasha, Middlestat, Protis. So Middlestat also returns to Buffalo. Defensively, Brodin, Morrissey, very good top pair. Even the second, Wallman, Forsling, Mata, Ahos. The D looks good. Goaltending, they got Ranta and Jones. They definitely waited a while to get a goalie. I remember seeing Ranta when we drafted Gibson, so they waited at least till like 6th, 7th round. we'll see what happens here, guys. I feel like Stanley Cup final matchup, we got to go period by period. Again, my bad for the first game there, simming through it. But we got the win, so we'll take that. We're down 1. Maybe I should sim game by game. Malkin. All right, Gaudreau ties it up. 2-2 now. Carlson, Stastny. OT Hero goes to us. Ovechkin, who else? Makes it a 2-0 series lead. Let's go. And now game 3 here, guys, of course, in Buffalo. 0-0 after 1. 1-0 lead. Peterka for them. 4-1. Suzuki, Middlestat, Stastny. Couturier makes it so we don't get shut out, but that would have been huge if we actually got a 3-0 series lead there on the Sabres. Hopefully can at least take 1 game here. Make sure they don't tie up this series. Game 4, 3-0 lead early. Couturier, Oshie, and Krug. Still 3-0. And we hold on there 5-1. Oshie again, and Ovechkin. So 3-1 series lead. All we gotta do is win one of these next 4 games. And this Anaheim Ducks squad, comprised entirely of players on draft lottery teams, is gonna be taking home the Stanley Cup. So let's see if they can pull it off here. Game 5, 1-0 lead. Ovi. 2-1. Henrique for us. Kucherov them. Let's see here. 2-1. Are we going to wait it out? Do we just sim it, pull off the Band-Aid? Let's just go for it. 3-1. Let's go. Gaudreau added 1 halfway through, and we hold on there to become Stanley Cup champions. Honestly, I was kind of like wishy-washy. This team could get it done, so that is pretty cool to see. We went on a 16-6 run there in the playoffs. And look at that. You got the Montreal Canadiens winning Connor Bedard. Vancouver second, San Jose third. So literally the top 3 teams are all teams that are bad in real life this year, even though it was a fancy draft. That's funny to see. Ovechkin there, 21 points in 22 games, 16 goals, was just shy there of a point per game. Curious to see who else popped off. Gaudreau had 20, same with Kuznetsov. So the first line actually woke up. They're positive players, and they're all around a point per game. Backstrom and Krug at 14. Couturier, a little bit slower there at 11. How'd Gibson do for us? 9.23 and a 2.53. Alright, yeah, so he actually stood on his head there in the playoffs. Big reason why we won the Stanley Cup. Now, next year, guys, take a look at the awards. Of course, for home the Stanley Cup, Francis Campbell, Brad Marchand got the Art Ross, also the Hart, Hedman, James Norris, Panarin, Lady Bing, Matty Beniers, Calder. Ovi got the Conn Smythe, as you probably could have predicted. Sorokin, Vezina, along with William Jennings. Edmondson there, Bill Masterton. Ottawa coach Jack Adams. Bergeron, Selke. Marchand, Ted Lindsay, and then Tage Thompson, Maurice Richard. So all we got was a Stanley Cup and the Conn Smythe Trophy, but I'll take it. That's obviously the most important award. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. That was actually a lot of fun, especially, you know, being able to win the cup there. And I feel like the Stanley Cup definitely deserves a thumbs up, so if you haven't yet, hit that like button. Also, too, guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do that. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a nice day. Goodbye.